What did your roommate from hell do to earn their title? Yelled at me for reading my own books because it messed up the decor. Books were sorted by color and not subject, and reading them made them look not as new. Yet, my own books burned holes through the bottom of my pots, making instant ramen in maple syrup instead of water. She forgot it on the stove while playing bongos in the living room at 2 a.m. with some dude she'd brought home off the street. She had the landlord return the security deposit in her name, even though I'd paid it in full. It was $1,800. When I asked the landlord for the deposit back, he said he already gave it to her and I had to work it out with her. I was 19 and didn't know any better. Needless to say, she never paid me back. Still bitter 20 years later. I worked full-time in college and her parents paid her way. $1,800 was a lot of money back then. She released my pet iguana into the wild. She blackmailed me via email from the next room. I caught her going through my nightstand when I came home from work. When I moved out, she poured baby oil and soy sauce all over my N64, SNES, Sega, and controllers. She ran a needle across my favorite DVDs. I got her back, though, and got my consoles professionally cleaned. She stole my underwear, wore them, then reported me to our boarding school for having personal inappropriate underwear when I confronted her for stealing them. She got in trouble for theft, but I still got in trouble for having clothes outside the dress code even though I threw them out after I saw them in her dirty laundry hamper. We already weren't getting along, but never escalated beyond minor spats. That is until he put nail polish remover into my facial moisturizer. He denied it when I confronted him, of course. I was even accused by my other roommates of putting it there myself. Obviously I moved out like 2 weeks later. The landlord refused to let me put a lock on my bedroom door. My new place was furnished, and I moved out ASAP, so it took me a couple extra days after I moved to get all my furniture out, including my bed. When I arrived to get my bed, there were fresh bodily fluids on my sheets and pillowcase. That's right, the motherfucker jacked his putrid dick off onto my pillow. Morgan, wherever you are, I hope you're fucking miserable. Edit, I love you all so much, you're all invited to the Fuck Morgan Club. One of my first flatmates in London was weirdly into me. One time I took a friend home cause she was too drunk to take the tube by herself. My flatmate saw us getting home, asked me if she was my girlfriend, and I said yes, hoping he'd leave me alone after this. Big mistake. He asked if he could sleep with us in my bed. My friend was passed out at this point, said he wouldn't do anything, just wanted some human contact. Creepy as hell, moved out shortly after that. Another roommate, who had no job, just a dad who sometimes paid his rent, many times neither paid. I was work/school full-time. He left his dirty dishes for about a week. Actually I owned the dishes. Told him wash 'em by the time I get home from work. Came home and no dishes in sink. Yay? Nope, he threw them in the trash, pots and pans I owned. End number X200B. End number X200B. Edit for added material, same guy. I could write a novel on this guy. Small guy, 5 feet 5 inches 130 pounds. Thought he was the coolest and handsomest guy alive, felt like he should be paid to be my friend. Sometimes I wonder how much bigger his ego would be if he was tall. Master manipulator. Wouldn't be surprised to see him on Dateline someday. Would be super cool to you if you could help him in some way. If he had no use for you, he'd be gone. I am sure he's still doing the same stuff to people today. The roommate stories are from before I realized how deep his douchiness went. He was bald, yet my shampoo was disappearing quickly. He was complaining he had scales on his genitals. Years later a friend said you get that from beating off with shampoo. He had a huge Suburban that got shit mileage, so he wanted to borrow my car to go 100 miles to get free new clothing, sponsored athlete. I said just bring me a pair of trunks. Unspoken rule, you replace the gas you use. Well, he used a full tank or so, and left me on empty. At least I got trunks. He wasn't my roomie anymore when he date raped the sweetest girl I knew. She was also one of his best friend's GFs. High school aged girl, he got her really drunk. He did that with lots of underaged girls. And there's also the small matter of him and his shady friend scamming me out of $6,000. I had roommates there were Seventh-day Adventists and would eat my food. They said they were not allowed to eat pork, so I started buying only lunch meats that obviously contained pork, but they still ate it anyway. I once had a roommate who kept cranking the temperature way up, I'm talking like 28 degrees Celsius or 85 Fahrenheit. The landlord kept coming over to turn it way down as he was paying the bill. This meant we had the landlord coming over basically every day for a month. Finally he turned the temperature to a very generous 22 Celsius, set up a lockbox to cover the thermostat. My roommate came home, got wasted, took a hammer and smashed the box to pieces and turned the temperature up to 28 degrees again. This by itself was just mainly amusing, but he also was stealing my stuff, borrowing money without paying it back, and hosting late-night dance parties to Nelly Furtado music. He claimed he had never used a vacuum in his life and didn't know how. One time he put a frozen pizza in the oven together with the cardboard. I smelled burning and raced downstairs to remove smoldering paper from the oven before it caught fire and burned our house down. I asked him what he was thinking and he said that's the way we do it in Spain. No shame, no apology. My college roommate ran out of pot, so he tried to boil down his bung water to hash in my microwave using my Tupperware. The residue ended up fusing with the plastic at the bottom of the container, so he scraped it out with a razor blade and smoked a big bowl of plastic and bung water concentrate with the windows closed. Not super terrible, but we went to a party, he got drunk super quick and saw some people he didn't want to be around and walked home. About an hour later me and my other roommate headed home too. When we pulled into the driveway we saw lights on in the living room, which quickly went off. When we got inside we saw a massive person-sized hole in the hallway wall into the bathroom. Our roommate was pretending to sleep, and when we asked him what the fuck happened he said someone broke and didn't try to steal anything but just busted a hole in our wall, from inside of the bathroom into the hall I should add, then slipped out the still locked back door. They didn't see him laying on the couch at all either apparently. Edit, dude was a compulsive liar. My favorite lie was that he had his whole head tattooed to look like a skull, but it faded so no one can tell anymore. She kicked my cat so hard she almost killed her. We'd been friends since we were 15. Fuck you, Samantha. EDA, this happened 30 years ago and I'll never get over it. I was 21 and poor, so saving her was a huge deal financially. The vet is a fucking saint. I'm so thankful she survived the ordeal. She was a trooper. She lived to be 19. After Samantha moved out, a mutual acquaintance told me it was sad I let a friendship go over money. Fuck you, unique named person, too. Edit, I wasn't there to see it. Another roommate was. Literally murdered a man at my house. I had to testify. Deleted. If you had the ability to add a feature to the human body, what would it be? Reinforced knees. Teeth regeneration. A diagnostic interface that tells you what's wrong with you. The ability to clean out your sinuses or clear your stuffed up nose at will. Fast charge. So I'll only ever need 1 to 2 hours of sleep. Built-in translator from / to any language. An organ to filter salt water into drinkable water. The ability to zoom in with your eyes. Regenerating teeth. Regeneration, ability to regenerate any lost organs or body parts. The ability to scan my whole body in order to know what is making me ill. A user interface that shows all information you want about your body, like hormone level or if you have an internal injury. Torn between wings, gills, and the ability to climb walls like bugs. Edit, or spit venom like a dinosaur. I really hope the devs finally patch the glitch where you open the fridge and don't remember why you are there or what you're looking for. I'll add something easy, the ability to generate vitamin C, like 99% of all animals. What's your favorite Simpsons quote? We're talking about sex. In front of the children. Sex cauldron? I thought they closed that place down. Chief Wiggum, mind if I tag along? I'm a bit of a crime buff. Bart, hey, can I hold your BB gun? Nelson, sure, it never hurts to have another set of prints on a gun. I sleep in a racing car. Do you? I sleep in a big bed with my wife. Oh. I'm not going to lie to you, Marge. Remain silent. Max power. Kids, there's 3 ways to do things, the right way, the wrong way and the max power way. Bart Simpson. Isn't that the wrong way? Max power. Yeah, but faster. $20 can buy many peanuts. Just once I'd like someone to call me sir without adding "you're making a scene." Trying is the first step towards failure. Removed. Ralph Wiggum, Mrs. Krabappel and Principal Skinner were in the closet making babies and I saw one of the babies and the baby looked at me. Chief Wiggum, the baby looked at you. Scully, do you understand? Homer, yes. Polygraph, explodes. No no no, dig up stupid. It's gotta be little Lisa Simpson, Springfield's answer to a question no one asked. Wait a minute, something not right here. I know, this lesbian bar has no fire exit. Enjoy your death trap ladies.